You're watching the news from the Sultan of Oman television. First, the headlines. The public prosecution stresses that it will firmly deal with violators of the Supreme Committee decisions and will publish their names and photos in various media outlets. First shipping line between the Sultanate's ports and Qasr port in Iraq is launched. Armenia and Azerbaijan accuse each other of violating Nagorno-Karabakh ceasefire. The global novel coronavirus fatalities top 1.07 million people since last December. Those are the headlines, and now for the news in detail. The public prosecution stressed that it will firmly deal with violators of the decisions of the COVID-19 Supreme Committee, especially the decision on banning movement, closing down public areas and commercial stores, and shutting down beaches that will be effective from tomorrow, Sunday, October the 11th, 2020, until Saturday, October 24th, 2020. All prescribed legal actions will be taken against violators, who will be taken under custody to present them at competent courts. Moreover, the names and photographs of the violators will be published in various media outlets as per the decision of the Supreme Committee. The public prosecution calls upon all citizens and residents to strictly follow the committee's decisions and always cooperate for the interest of all. The Asyad Group launched the first shipping line between the ports of the Sultanate and the port of Qasr in Iraq in the framework of expanding the maritime transport network between the Sultanate and the countries of the world. The inauguration comes as part of Asyad Group's efforts to facilitate trade between the countries of the region, supplement the movement of direct export and import, and provide shipping solutions to its customers. This shipping line will contribute to increasing the volume of intra-trade between the Sultanate and widening the horizons for investment opportunities between the Sultanate and Iraq. The Public Establishment for Industrial Estates, Medayan, in cooperation with the Asian Arab Chamber of Commerce in the Republic of India, organized a seminar on investment incentives in Omani industrial cities via teleconference. The seminar aims to introduce the incentives and facilities provided by Medayan to investors to strengthen Oman's position as a leading regional center for manufacturing, information and communication technology, to attract industrial investments and to provide investor support through regional and global competitive strategies, good infrastructure, value-added services and easy government procedures. The value of government treasury bill issue number 525 reached 47 million Omani rials, payable after 91 days starting from October 7th until January 6, 2021. Treasury bills are highly secured financial instruments issued from the Central Bank of Oman on behalf of the Omani government to provide investment opportunities to licensed commercial banks. Samples tested at various laboratories of the Ministry of Commerce, Industry and Investment Promotion increased during the second quarter of the current year by more than 141% to reach 1,668 samples. The ministry pointed out that the number of Omani and GCC standards and specifications reached about 24 standards at various industrial and service fields, adding that the total number of commercial agencies, vocational and oil, licensed reached 405 agencies during the second quarter of this year. Nagorno-Karabakh's foreign ministry today accused Azerbaijan of using ceasefire talks as cover to ready military action, as all sides accused each other of violating a Russian-brokered truce. It said the only way to achieve real peace would be for the international community to recognize the enclave as an independent republic. The enclave is internationally recognized as part of Azerbaijan, but is populated and governed by ethnic Armenians who do not want anything to do with the Azeri government. Meanwhile, Armenia and Azerbaijan forces accused each other of bombing civilian areas today, ahead of the ceasefire agreed to end nearly 2 weeks of heavy fighting over the disputed region. The novel coronavirus has killed at least 1.07 million people since the outbreak emerged in China last December. The United States is the worst-hit country, with 213,795 deaths from 7.6 million cases. At least 3.1 million people have been declared recovered. After the US, the hardest-hit countries are Brazil, with 149,639 deaths, India with 107,416, Mexico 83,507, and the United Kingdom with 42,679 deaths. Latin America and the Caribbean overall has 366,702 deaths, Europe, 240,333 deaths. Asia, 150,625. The Middle East, 49,370,000. And Africa, 37,627 deaths. Spanish police controlled traffic today in Madrid as the Spanish capital entered a state of emergency invoked by the central government to reimpose a partial lockdown for several million people in and around the city. Several police checkpoints monitored traffic flow, checking if residents leaving had the required documents in order to leave the restricted areas. The state of emergency was imposed on Friday and escalated a standoff between the Prime Minister, Pedro Sanchez's government, and the Conservative-led Madrid's regional chief, who calls the curbs illegal, excessive, and disastrous for the economy. The government said an extra 7,000 police would be deployed, but many of the 3.8 million people affected in the capital city and 8 satellite towns were bemused, and cars continued to pour out for the holiday weekend. Spain has now recorded 861,112 coronavirus cases, the highest number in Western Europe, and 32,929 deaths. The U.S. National Hurricane Center said Delta is now a tropical storm moving across the south after striking Louisiana as a major hurricane. Delta blew ashore yesterday evening as a Category 2, only a few miles from where Hurricane Laura struck land just 6 weeks earlier. Delta ripped tarps off damaged roofs and shattered massive piles of storm debris in the wind and the water. Hundreds of thousands are without power as the storm moves north into east, into Mississippi and the Tennessee Valley. In Lake Charles, Louisiana, Major Nick Hunter said his city will be in recovery mode for months and probably years. Still to come in a news bulletin. Nama Water Springs in the Wilayah of Adam is a therapeutic and touristic treasure, awaiting development and investment. Welcome back to the news from the Sultanate of Oman television. The coronavirus COVID-19 is having a significant impact on every aspect of our lives in Oman and other countries across the world. The number of cases, as indicated by the Supreme Committee, is increasing. Hospitals are working almost beyond its capacity. Therefore, people are required to adhere to the preventative measures to curb the virus. More details in the following report.
In the light of current situation regarding the rise of infections in the country, it has been decided to impose the national curfew to protect members of the public and limit the spread of the virus. The curfew will start from October 11th to October 24th, 8 p.m. to 5 a.m.
As everybody knows, tomorrow another lockdown will start due to high number of cases of COVID-19. That made Ministry of Health to have a field hospital at all airports. All this is made to non-compliance of preventive measures. So let us all cooperate and adhere to the preventive measures to curb COVID-19.
Let's be clear, social distancing, hand washing, and other preventive measures are the most important methods of prevention. The problem is that, do really people follow these preventive measures? Again, shops, cafeterias, restaurants, and other places, other public places, are very much responsible for this situation, as some of do not apply strict measures. So, let's all be responsible and follow preventive measures.
Total number of cases in the country has passed 100,000 and more than 1,000 have died. So it is of great importance to stick to the preventive measures laid out by the Supreme Committee. This is one of the biggest responsibility for all of us, the people of Oman. Let's fulfill it to curb coronavirus.
Rural women contributing in raising income for their families. They work hard in honing their skills and using material from their immediate and local environment. Moza Al-Badi from the Wilayat of Yankul in the Governorate of Dahira is another example of a successful woman as a dedicated bee breeder and a specialist in natural herbal oils. She starts her day inspecting the beehives and then collecting herbs and leaves from the local environment to extract herbal oils and manufacture herbal soaps. Moza Al-Badi participates in exhibitions to showcase her selection of homemade products. Ministry of Agriculture, Fisheries and Water Resources provides rural women and other members of the community with awareness and training programs to help them start their home-based projects and initiatives. Nama Water Spring in the Wilayah of Adam is a prominent touristic and natural healing destination. Its pristine geographical location is distinguished by many diverse rock formations. Yet, despite all the natural beauty of this spring, it's in dire need of development and investment. More details in the following report.
About 40 kilometers to the south from the center of the Wilayah of Adam, and in the middle of the desert, there is a beautiful oasis of ponds that can be reached via this dirt road. This site is called Nama Water Spring.
Nama Water Spring is a mineral water spring in Adam, in the south of Adam. It's around 40 kilometers to the south, and it's a tourist and natural place in Adam, visited by many people in Oman, now not just from Adam, from all around Oman.
The freshwater pools and the beautiful rock formations are among the most prominent natural elements that distinguish Nama Water Spring. The relaxing, trickling water sounds of this spring falls into the hearts of its visitors. It brings hope to everyone who comes to this place, either for the purpose of healing or relaxation.
Ain Nama is a tourist place, as I mentioned, and so that made the youth in Adam think more about this place, think more to clean this place and make it a good place for tourists, good place for people who can come and visit and use the water for healing. So as part of their efforts, they started some projects to clean this place, and one of the projects was or participated in an international environmental project competitions, and it won the 4th place.
Despite the charms of this pristine site, it lacks some of the basic touristic services that cater for the needs of its visitors. From the Wilayah of Adam, صالح بن خلفان الرحبي, الداخلية, Governorate.
This is the Sultanate of Oman television. Before we end tonight's bulletin, here are the main points once again. Public prosecution stresses that it will firmly deal with violators of the Supreme Committee's decision and will publish their names and photos in various media outlets. First shipping line between the Sultanate's ports and Qasr port in Iraq is launched. Armenia and Azerbaijan accuse each other of violating Nagorno-Karabakh ceasefire. The global novel coronavirus fatalities top 1.07 million people since last December. With that, we come to the end of tonight's news bulletin. From all of us here at the newsroom and the studio, it's good night.